Hey gang, this is Eric Epler from live from PennLive headquarters at 2020 Technology Parkway. We are lucky enough today to be joined. It took a while to get you guys together.
We're busy guys.
They're busy guys. It took about 2 weeks. I had to call the manager, his managers, grants handlers, and all that stuff. We finally got you here to PennLive. These guys probably need no introduction, but this is Shaun Hastings, offensive lineman. Well, let's call you two-way lineman at Cedar Cliff. Grant Breneman, quarterback for the Colts. Fellas, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so what we want to do today is just talk a little bit about football. I know we're knee-deep in the basketball season.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting ready for baseball. But first and foremost, let's address the big subject in the room. We have to do a little clap for Grant, who is, in case you don't know, he's been selected to quarterback for the Pennsylvania team in the Big 33. So, congratulations to Grant on that honor. You'll be QBing with Reese Dinsky from North Penn. Excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited. It's always been a dream of mine, and I'm just ready to go and compete.
So, it seems like whenever I get good news, which is rare these days, but when I get good news, it's always you're in an awkward place or time. So, how was the news delivered? How did you get the information that you're going to be QBing?
It was all on Twitter. I found it on Twitter first. Actually, we had our mini-thon that
right.
And it was like the day before I was at school setting up, and like a couple people texted me like, "Congrats!" Just not saying about the Big 32, just congrats. I was like, I better check Twitter. So I went on. They released the teams and stuff.
Did you think they were talking about your dance moves?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, exactly. I was like, well, I've been working on them, but no, it was pretty simple, but it was pretty cool.
So now, Shaun, you provided all the room, all the space for this guy to operate.
Very true.
During the season. So were you surprised that they called his number?
I was not.
No?
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
For the record, I feel like Shaun's going to end up on that roster somehow by the game.
Well, you know what? There is a lot of maneuvering in the next couple of
Right.
weeks. There'll be guys that'll bow out for certain. There'll be somebody with injuries.
Right.
Heaven forbid. But there's a lot of jostling with both the Big 33 and the East-West game roster, which of course has not been announced yet. That'll be in a couple of weeks, and we'll find out who's going to play in that. But did you think of sort of the gravity of the game? I mean, this is the 60th edition of this game. Everybody in the country knows about this game because somebody's always playing in the Super Bowl who's an alumni of the Big 33. Have you got to that point yet, or are you just like still sort of like, when I'll cross that bridge when I get to it?
Yeah, I mean, at first, it doesn't really hit you yet, and then actually my dad was reading me like something, like an article online about just the history of the Big 33. He's just rattling off names, all of them I know right away, of the biggest performers and where they went to school and all this kinds of stuff. So it's definitely a big part of Pennsylvania, and a big part it's nationwide.
I mean, you're going to be a quarterback on the team. The names that have played in this game are all time in the NFL.
Right.
There's Hall of Famers, things like that. So I'm not putting any pressure on you. We could go from that. So anyway, let's update guys on where you guys are heading to school. I was lucky enough to spend a little time with you guys at signing day. You sat along with Tristan McDonald, who was pretty much your jack of all trades, I think. Well, you had a couple of those, Bobby Whalen, another one, but Tristan McDonald going to Slippery Rock. Also, you had Cole Perlick, who was with you guys going to Alderson Broadus in West Virginia. So, I guess, Shaun, first how did you sort of come to pick St. Francis? I know we had talked, and you had some other offers or some other things that were sort of lining up for you, but you took a visit, and that pretty much sealed the deal.
Yeah, sealed the deal. I went up there and I loved it. The atmosphere, the school in general was just great.
And you mentioned the Division I aspect of it. I mean, that was your, we talk a lot about dreams and playing Division I football. St. Francis is building a very nice pipeline with not only mid-Penn guys, but just, PA guys, and just keeping it in Pennsylvania. How important was it for you to sort of keep it relatively close, too? I know one of your other offers was at Delaware, which is fairly close as well, but, for you to be not that far away and kind of maybe have your family be able to see you and all that?
Actually, my dad's a Marine, so we didn't know
So
we didn't know where we were going to be after I graduated. There was talk of South Carolina, Tennessee, like a bunch of different places, and it just felt home. I mean, I knew that I could go there and be okay with my parents or my family being 15 hours away from me and just be okay with it.
that you have a guy coaching there who was, you know,
Just-
bred right here, native, played 9 or 11 seasons, I believe, in the NFL. How valuable was that, meeting him and saying, you know, this is the guy I want to steer under?
It was cool hearing something like that hearing that they want you from a guy that's played a long time in the league, and that was pretty special hearing that.
Grant, you've picked Colgate as your next destination. I actually called you when you were in the car on the way home. You were in the family truckster,
Yep.
coming home. Adam, of course, was in the back seat with you. And tell the viewers a little bit about your choice and why you made it.
Really, it started with the relationship with the coaching staff. Obviously, that's where most things start. But right away, they're aggressive with me recruiting. Wanted me to get up on campus. And at that point, I really didn't know that much about Colgate. Knew it was in the Patriot League. Knew they had a good football program, but wasn't really familiar with it. Got up on campus the first time. Pretty much right away, I knew that was a special place for me. From the football standpoint, number one, the coaching staff, like I said. The offense was what I was looking for. Looked like a good fit for me. Just their style of play, the level of play, and their success. They were coming off a Patriot League championship,
Right.
which also kind of
It helps.
influenced me. And then once you look at the academic side, I knew that I was going to get the most out of college, going there. So
We talked during regular season, and one of the questions I asked you, a random question of all the times we talked, is about you wanting to tuck and run. You enjoyed it, not only because you were, ran like a gazelle. He didn't say gazelle, but he's a very good runner, but you like the fact that the run sort of ends in a collision, and you sort of like the collisions. Do you think they're going to rein you in a little bit at Colgate and sort of try to keep you in the pocket?
I don't know. The last quarterback they had coming through, a really good player. He was a 1,000-yard rusher, I think 2 years in a row. So they know that the quarterbacks are expected to run, and they're gonna run them, no matter what. But I'll still be dropping back. But just gotta keep the defense honest,
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to ask both of you guys, were there other guys that sort of played a role and helped you in the recruiting process? And not necessarily, obviously you had Adam, who had gone through it, and you had a great support system at Cedar Cliff with Coach Colin and, your parents and all that. But as far as like other players, maybe outside of Cedar Cliff, was there any talk with other guys? Because, you guys are at camps together, you guys scrimmage together, whatever. It seems like a lot of the recruiting happens now between the kids,
right.
Between the players. So was there anybody that you guys sort of leaned on outside of the program to just kind of swap stories and maybe see what's going to happen in recruiting trips?
Do you have anything?
Besides
No?
my family, no.
That was it?
Yeah.
From the Colgate perspective, I was the second commit in the class, so you didn't really have that interaction between there was 14, 15 kids in the class trying to get that one more guy to commit. Mostly, I kept it a small group of people. It was obviously Coach Gillen, my family, Coach Catafio, who I still work with quarterback wise. He has a lot of connections too, so that kind of helped me out. Just get my name out there. So, but I kept it pretty close.
Now, I know big brothers don't want their little brothers anywhere near them. So UMass was never an option, I'm assuming, right?
Talked to them a little bit, but they're a pro style system looking for it. Andrew, the lefty and Andrew Ford. I can't.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it wouldn't be immediate playing time for sure. Absolutely. So guys, let's still go back to the season. It was an exciting season, 9-2 for the Colts on the year. I'm going to first talk about the playoff game with Man Up Central. We had talked about this, both of us, both of you guys, about you really had a tough draw.
Yeah.
I mean, Man Up Central was obviously very talented under another trigger man like Grant and Cody Kegris. How disappointing was that game, knowing that maybe if you get by them, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to wind up in the final.
Right.
Shaun?
I think the most disappointing part for me was that we blew the 17-3 lead at halftime. That was probably the most heartbreaking thing about it for me.
I was not going to bring up 17-3 at halftime.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, from your perspective,
I think, we had an awesome first half. We probably could have taken advantage of more opportunities in the first half too. But it just seemed like we needed to make a play in the fourth quarter to turn things around, and we just, I didn't come up with that play, and the team didn't come up with that play, which was, just obviously really disappointing, and we were really hard on ourselves. And then that's a tough place to play too.
it is.
Because
Yes.
once they started to sniff a comeback, I mean, the crowd was getting into it, and it was just really tough to slam the door. And
So how much was it? You guys couldn't get it, or how much was it? Or you say it was about 50-50 of them denying it, and you guys trying to muster something that's going to get you over the edge.
I think that they came out of halftime fired up. It wasn't like we came out of halftime feeling dead, feeling like we were
Right.
trying to hold on to the lead, but they made the adjustments at halftime, and so did we, but we didn't execute them well enough, And then once they started to get the ball rolling, it was just, we couldn't really do anything to stop it.
Yeah. What was the most difficult part about playing those guys? Like I said, they're very talented. They had great wideouts, they had great linebackers.
Yeah.
A couple of those guys were all-state nomination guys and all-state picks, and what was the most difficult part about getting traction against those guys?
For the linemen, for us, it was the linebackers on offense. It was pulling around, seeing where they were going to be. We're trying to read them before the snap a little bit, taking the double teams where they need to be taken. For defense, it was their whole offensive line they were a good offensive line.
They were good, yeah.
And it seemed like no matter where we lined up, they had somewhere to go. So it was tough.
I forgot to ask you, Shaun. Have you sort of settled on a position? Are they gonna try at guard and tackle and see what kind of shakes out?
I've heard more guard than tackle. I don't really have the height for the tackle,
Right, yeah.
but I'll play
I like
wherever
the things.
wherever I need to be played.
You played both, obviously this year, in fact, or last year. Do you prefer one or the other?
I like tackle more than guard, but that's just what I've always been playing. But
Is it because it's more kind of set piece that you know who you're going to dial into? I mean, guard, you may be pulling, you may be, crashing down, or
a little bit. It's more natural for me. That's what I grew up on, even in Pee Wee football. So
Yeah.
that's where I've always kind of been. But,
do you feel? I guess tackle, you'd probably have to pack on a few pounds, right?
I gotta pack on a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I would guess, what are you, 260 now? 265? 265, so they probably want you, 25 more? At least,
sure.
30 more? Man, that's hard.
It's been tough.
It's been tough, so you're trying.
Yeah.
So he's trying.
More than I've ever seen a given me in my life.
All right, what's the most, now this is great now, what's the most you've ever seen him eat?
It's not how much he eats; it's a frequency that he eats.
So you eat all day long?
Yeah, I can eat
All day long. When this guy goes to McDonald's for breakfast, it's game over. He's getting
It's so warm.
the steak, egg, and cheese, the bacon, egg, and cheese, sausage burrito. He's got literally the whole breakfast menu in one bag, just taking it to school and eating the whole day.
So if I said, all right, we're going to McDonald's, you can order anything you want off the dollar menu, how much money would I have to give you for where you would be fine?
Off the dollar menu?
Yeah, dollar menu, items only. You get, I'll pay for it all. You can order as many dollar items you can, but you're hungry, you got to eat. And how much money would I need to hand the lady?
I don't know. Now that I get to leave school a little bit to go get lunch, I'm spending like $15 every day. So I would
$15 for the dollar menu.
Well, I don't know. How
We're
much.
doing that.
Well,
That's all I'm saying. We're doing that.
We're the king of our team is the king of dollar menu because we would have films on Mondays
Right.
At 3 o'clock, we get out of school at 2:45, and McDonald's is right across the street.
Right across the street. Exactly.
So we had to be in our seats at 3 o'clock. So we would just sprint out of school, get in our cars. Everybody would there'd be 7 kids in one car, go over to McDonald's, and we'd be like waiting in the drive-thru. Hurry up, we gotta get back. And then everybody would have something. So
that's fabulous. That is fabulous. I will say this too. I wanted to bring this up only because I felt a little dissed, Shaun. I'm going to bring it up. The McDevitt game. We have to bring up the McDevitt game. Again, things went, let's call it awry.
yeah.
Things went awry there. It was a game that you guys know you should have won. And I went up after to talk to Grant, and he said, I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
He did. He big. You know what he did? He big timed me. He big timed.
All right.
He did.
In my defense, I was.
You were walking. It was my fault, actually.
The thing that we were walking with the rest of the players.
Yes.
And I didn't really want them seeing me go do an interview after we basically won that game. So
it was perfectly my fault because I was actually going to get you on the field. Because we're away from everybody, and it didn't work out. I was talking to somebody else, and you would walk by. So completely my fault, Shaun. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I felt bad. I remember that, and I felt
don't
bad
worry.
about it.
I just wanted to throw that out there. You know what I mean? So anyway, guys, what do you do between now and leaving for school? I mean, Shaun, you're probably you're $15 a day at McDonald's, and you're lifting. Is there any set schedule or any sort of regiment that St. Francis has given you to kind of follow for the next couple of months?
St. Francis hasn't given me anything yet. Right now, I leave for school for senior project, and I go lift at Ignite. I go there, and I don't work after school. I go there, work out, do what I have to do, and put the work in.
I gotta ask, right? What are you benching? I gotta ask what you bench.
Right now, I haven't benched in
940. That's that much.
I haven't maxed in a long time.
You can throw some weight.
Probably
If I put $15 items from McDonald's on no. So what was your last max bench was what?
I think 315.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight. That's ridiculous.
See, we got a new weight room this year, and we had the old one. We only had up to 100-pound dumbbells, and we got 120s for him.
That's how awesome you are. They ordered special dumbbells.
They actually did.
Yeah.
I had to do for dumbbell bench press and stuff like that. I had to do extra reps to make sure that it was at least some type of workout.
It was helping you.
Yeah.
Like you can't even break a sweat on 100-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
So Grant, you're getting ready for baseball.
Uh-huh.
Now you got to go from sort of. I mean, not that you don't lift for baseball, you're going to continue to lift, but now it's sort of you need a little bit more flexibility.
Right. Yeah.
So how's practice been going, and what are you sort of focusing on?
It's been going good. From about December up until basically this week, I was working out at Spooky Nook, throwing, running, lifting, all that kind of stuff for football, and then kind of transitioned the past couple of weeks to baseball. But things are going well. I think we're gonna have a really good team. And it's the last time I get to put on Cedar Cliff uniform.
That's right, yeah.
So it's going to be a pretty special season, pretty important season for me.
Do you guys feel like you left? I mean, 9-2 last year. That followed back-to-back 8 in 3 years. That's 25, and by my math, that's 25 and 8
right.
over the last 3 years when you guys were primary starters. That's pretty darn good. Mm-hmm. Are you happy with that? Were you leaving the program? Are you satisfied? Or are you frustrated to get 1 or 2 more? But how do you view your exit from Cedar Cliff football?
I feel like we could have won a couple playoff games, but I feel the way that we left the program is the right track to where it needs to be.
I think obviously, the playoff, no playoff wins stings.
Right.
It still bugs me. And bugs is like the low term for that.
Right.
But as far as like Shaun said, the direction that we had our program going, the culture that we built, I think that it'll really pay off for this next group coming in, for the group after that, to keep on building. I think that was one thing that Coach Gillen really, really, tried to implement in our team was the work culture, the team culture, the relying on each other, and the wins will eventually come. You know, we obviously, you know, we lost a lot of opportunities. We had some tough draws in playoffs, but I think that down the road we'll come back to Cedar Cliff and just, you know, see it better than it is today.
Who's the next QB? A couple young guys in the wings, right?
A couple young guys. Well, you know, we'll see, you know, what plays out. But they're really good athletes, really good arms, and whoever's playing is going to put on a show. I know that.
You're so smart not to drop any names. So smart. Best of luck at St. Francis, my man. Best of luck at Colgate, my man. Thank you so much for joining us. To cap this on off, I'm going to have you guys sign. This is, by the way, this is my Cedar Cliff helmet, so I'm going to let you guys sign it, and then we'll be all done. We'll be all ready to go.
I need to be working on my signature, but I'll do my best.
There you go. Work on your signature. You're going to need it, man. Big 33 week. You got to sign a lot of signatures. Yeah, see? There you go, my man. Big and bold.
Is that showing up good?
There you go. I try to get cute with the silver. Awesome. It will have a permanent spot in the corner of this room for
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.